Hi and hello and welcome to episode 44 of Going Over. Of course, I am Fred Slow. Alongside me, my co-host Saleh Taylor. Saleh, welcome, brother. How are you?
I'm moving. I'm grooving. I'm grateful. How you doing? How you feeling? Fabulous,
Doing
Freddie Fame.
doing good. Time of recording is late night Friday night. That's fun. We had a whole week of actual life, and it's August the 9th, so this thing will be airing just about 8 hours from the time we put it down. So it's going to be a lot of fun for us. Thank you for everyone who tunes in terrestrially, 9 a.m. Thank you to our lead-in, Fill in the Holes, and their brand new sponsor, New Mexico Pinon Coffee. So way to go, boys, bringing one of the
Oh,
OG supporters of myself and Van Nunley over at Two Men On back to the world of the sports animal and back to the friends of the show that are so willing to listen.
we appreciate each and every one of you. We see you.
I
We
like
hear
that.
you. We feel you.
Yeah. Also, fun announcement on my personal for everyone who is interested. Saleh, that I have for some years been so fortunate to help some organizations with some fundraising. That's a thing I don't struggle at, and I don't know why I have that skill set, but I'm glad that I do. And with that said, I've taken an official position with the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Mexico, my man. So gonna handle major gifts and donations. So if any friend of the show is interesting in supporting the club that supports so very many kids and helping young adults be the person that kids needed when they were young, please reach out to me, Fred at talkabq.com. And I will do my absolute best to set you up for success with the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Mexico. Also, as soon as that new building is done, Saleh, we're pro wrestling in there. You know that for a fact.
Oh,
That is
there's going to be a ring in there, and there's going to be a bunch of bodies hitting the flow. It's going to be beautiful. I love it. I can't wait.
100% going down. 100%. Saleh, you wrestled last weekend. How was it in Lubbock? Or excuse me, I said Lubbock. How was it in Amarillo, my man?
It there's a different thing. There's a beautiful different thing in the air over there
Yeah.
it makes you hungry. There was a great, beautiful turnout for OXW. I got to have some more time with Necro Butcher, the man himself.
Yeah, pretty
Uh,
nice guy.
very, very, very swell man, and
Good.
a great, great mind of the sport, of the industry. And it was amazing. I felt great. I had two matches in one night, and my main goal of that night was just to don't pass out,
Not
and
blow up. Yeah.
I barely made it, man. And I think I can add a choke slam into my move set, man.
Love it.
Did a couple choke slams that night.
Love everything about that. We got our big match card announcements coming up next week for Locked In. That's at the Rio Rancho Event Center, August the 31st. Well, you will be performing. We haven't made the formal announcement yet, but you will be taking on a new fan favorite, Valak Vile. So that's really exciting. I don't know if maybe you didn't know, but I don't know if you didn't know. But it's gonna be Newfound Good versus Longtime Evil, and I am
Let's go.
I am privy to those who have purchased tickets and are excited about being there, and it's gonna be a lot of individuals, hopefully celebrating your loss against Valak Vile.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh man! For those who don't know, Valak Vile, he got a little bit of help, and something weird happened. He used some kind of African American magic or something. He
Okay,
eliminated me from the inaugural,
Battle Royal for the Route
battle
66
royale.
championship. Yes,
So, this is a long time coming. I can't. Coming back from my suspension, I got Valak Vile. I just ready to fight. Just ready to
yeah, just
fight
ready
it.
to fight. So it's gonna be a good one. Obviously, tickets are available at dccwtickets.com. That is for Locked In at the Rio Rancho Event Center, August the 31st. Do keep in mind if you purchase a ticket to that, I am in the ownership group. So any proceeds that you decide to put towards that product, they go into my pocket, and then I have it. So your money will become my money, but my ticket will become your ticket, and that is a fair trade. All daisy, no takebacks. There is takebacks for certain things.
Certain
No
things,
take-
yeah, but Locked In at the Rio Rancho Event Center. Is it also formerly known as the Santa Ana?
Correct. Yeah. And I think
Co-
that's kind of, that I think that's gone. There is like a conversation to be had about whenever buildings or venues or forums or whatever, they get new naming rights, they get new names, and then they move on and people are like, well, it's still the whatever to me, and I don't think that's
Yeah,
true for the Rio Rancho Event Center. I think the Rio Rancho Event Center is at that point now where it's been enough years without the Santa Ana Star monocle that that it's known correctly. Also, it's a Muni run establishment. Like the city of Rio Rancho runs that. So
Well,
it's
where do the Lakers play? It's still known as the Staples Center to me.
yeah, good point. It's not crypto.com arena.
Yeah, no, it's Staples Center. Like where Seahawks play. It was when the new stadium came up. It was Questfield. Now it's something else.
Yeah,
but so I'm like challenging myself. Like, all right, it's a Rio Rancho Event Center because Rio Rancho are officially on the map. They've been. They are doing their own thing and they're establishing themselves as a young city, and they are
second largest city in New Mexico now, which is incredible. Right outside of Albuquerque, and just surpassed Las Cruces for that as well. So yeah, it is the city of vision, as they call it. And on August 31st, Saleh becomes the city of prison for Hobo Hank and Thunder, as they will enter into a steel cage face off for the Duke City Championship Wrestling title. So we're incredibly excited about that. All the ticket promos and all the commercials and all that stuff start running across the cluster of radio, I think next week. So that's really cool. And posters galore up around town, the social media buzz. So how very excited we are for those that are very familiar with the product to stay tuned to our stories, and those that are maybe going to be introduced for the first time to get excited about it. And, similar to what's going on in the WWE, Duke City Championship Wrestling's done a little bit of a reset too. They've done it with their roster. They got a lot of new talent in. So we're no longer introducing new faces. We're letting them tell stories, and that's a lot of fun. Also, big congratulations to some of our guys who I personally sent footage of their match. I don't want to say names because I don't want to put any spoilers out there. But let's just say there's a handful of individuals on our roster, more than two, that it was asked by WWE to provide them with some footage. So there's some fun eyes out there with the amount of talent that's coming through Duke City Championship Wrestling and where those guys will aspire to. So how incredibly fun it is that we can provide that. So it's gonna be real neat to see those stories develop. Obviously, we talked a lot about some debuting Duke City Championship wrestlers. Manny Lemons is going to come down. We're excited to have him with us. That's going to be a world of fun. Sim Bodie, who's going to be here for the first time making his debut. Also Baba Thunder, who formerly was
Commander Z.
Yeah, that's yep. And he was in WWE up until very recently. So it's gonna be a wild night, and it's gonna be a lot of fun pro wrestling. So thank you for those that are gonna take the time with us.
Hey Fred, you were touching onto something, and I kind of want to talk to you about this because the both of us are transplants, but we've taken to this beautiful land of entrapment so well.
Correct.
Let's be real, man. We're pequeños now, man. But I am grateful for such a place as New Mexico in general. New Mexico has been such a beautiful place for artists, for those to just work at their craft. One of the best things, it's a beautiful grounds for, it's like there's something about this land that helps others get better. And like myself, I got my music career, acting career, film career, all that stuff, wrestling career, all of that started in New Mexico. I've been doing all that other stuff. I've been doing it throughout my whole life. But let's be real, it didn't start as a career until New Mexico. It's not, for you too. Like you've been in the game for a minute, but
sure. Well, I've been in the entertainment game. I've been in talk radio for a long time. I'm real fortunate to tell stories, and I'm also the guy that doesn't necessarily miss when it comes to like a live event. I'm not the guy that misses when it comes to a good party, and that's from a lot of years of doing it, with high expectations. With that said, you're talking about like the perfect combination of entertainment, art, and athleticism. And what else do we have going on in the world right now? The Olympics. And how much do I believe that pro wrestling, similar to gymnastics, similar to diving, similar to any sport that has a judging, how much do I believe that pro wrestling should be in the Olympics in the form of similar to the way rhythmic gymnastics is? There is, to me, a story that can be told within parameters. This many moves, this many lockups, this type of pacing, this fill in the blanks, right? Like you have a score sheet and you get the best guys in the world to score it. You get guys that know more about pro wrestling. Anyway, I'm talking, get Chris Jericho. Like go out, get people from all over the world, and have guys go out there and pro wrestle each other and grade that thing and rate that thing, and at the very end, gold, silver, bronze, and at the very end, you have athleticism and you have art. And if you tell me that pro wrestling isn't figure skating, I'm going to call you a liar. Because I think like if there was ever a time to do it, I'm watching breaking, I'm watching breakdancing.
Yeah.
Is that not what pro wrestling is? Is that not athleticism and art and entertainment combined? It is to me. Synchronized swimming, it is to me. Put pro wrestling in the Olympics, my man.
So how would you see this? Would it be like, the specific countries working with themselves or working with the other countries, and who can and you would be grading, all right, you can pull off these certain moves well. You can also selling would have to be have to be a criteria for selling and storytelling. But this is very interesting, man. That my wheels are turning because so many ways that this could be a thing. But would it be the Americans working with just Americans, or would it be the Americans?
I think it's all around the world, right? Because to me, and also, recognizing that it's not just the athleticism and the performance. I don't need everyone in the exact same singlet, but the way that gymnastics has made it into, a beauty contest. There's what did I see on this? On their team uniforms for U.S. women's gymnastics, there was 30,000 rhinestones or something crazy. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
I don't know. That might not be right, but
that sounds about right, though.
Yeah. But we're talking about objectively ranking subjective art. And I recognize that it's incredibly hard to do. But if you're to say, hey, you have to have, and I think you do it on degree of difficulty, the same way they do in gymnastics, where not everything is a 10, not everything is a 5.
Yeah.
But you run it throughout. So the idea is, hey, this match between these two guys, and maybe it's what you just described. Maybe Team USA gets 2 guys and that's a team. And who else would be in the mix? Canada would be in the mix. Japan would be in the mix.
Korea.
Korea, Cuba. There'd be
Puerto Rico under U.S. Oh, man.
The qualifier with America, Samoa. Oh, my gosh. So that's what I'm saying. So you identify a degree of difficulty, and then from there you do execution the exact same way that they do gymnastics, right? So let's find some criteria, right? So you want mat work. That's an obvious one, right?
Yeah.
You want from the live chat as we live stream here, friend of Duke City Championship Wrestling.
Oh, Mexico would. Oh, man.
100% yes, they'd be in the mix. And it'd be cultural too. You know what I mean? So that's a whole nother thing. So if you're doing it, so we'd have mat work, right? So we'd have some sort of running the ropes. That would absolutely be in there. You'd have some sort of off the top rope, right? That would absolutely be in there. You'd have I'm not trying to give the insides of a wrestling match, but you'd have, some sort of heat, some sort of return, some sort, you'd have all these things that you would qualify throughout. And how long does this thing last? I mean, a lot of people tell you the best wrestling matches in the whole world are an hour long. I'm going to tell you they're not. That's not my energy. But if you had an all fast MVD 5 minutes, something, where these guys went out there and did it, I think it could be done. Solid. I think it could be really entertaining.
Jade Cargill just had a 3-minute match on SmackDown, and it looked great. It was well within the confines. They're rebuilding her as a monster, and not monster. They're rebuilding her as a top talent in front of a camera, and she looked great. But yeah, 3 minutes, and they told a great story. It was a fun match. I enjoyed the whole thing. So yeah, I say the quality of time, not necessarily quantity of moves. I would love to see a story,
a big spot festy thing or whatever.
Yeah. As long as you're telling, or a big thing for me, a criteria would be story.
Yeah, I agree. And it just came up here on the chat, but dressage with the horses. If you're going to sit here and tell me that that's not pure art, I don't know what pure art is. And that's why I think there's a conversation to be had about this where, and maybe you end up with a bigger conversation too with the world of pro wrestling. I'm not saying pro wrestling has more fans than the Olympics, but I'm saying that if you had a finals where it was the biggest names in Japan and the biggest names in Canada and the biggest names in the US, which I think is pretty realistic, gold, silver, bronze kind of thing. And you have a Kenny Omega and a Chris Jericho from Canada, and they're going up against, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins from USA, but they're also different companies. And then you end up like telling really, like heartbreaking. Oh my God, it'd be so good. It'd be so dumb good.
Oh man, that would
But
be
also, it could also possibly never work. It's the stupidest idea of all time. But with that said, if it exists,
we could dream the dream, man. We could dream the dream.
I think the stunts are a big deal. Like it's you would have like a series of attacks, series of throws, series of defenses. There's just so much to it. And if it failed, cool. But I don't know how it stands any different in the world of grading than synchronized diving. Maybe it does. I don't think it does.
It could be worked out. You have something there.
There's something there.
When
we get back from the break, we continue the world of pro wrestling talk, including telling stories from scratch, because that's where I feel like we are in the world of WWE. We just got through SummerSlam, a bunch of payoffs at SummerSlam, and they were all fun. Also, if you listened to us last weekend, your boy predicted the card to the 100 percentile.
We got it.
Outside of Roman Reigns, we both said it was going to be Jimmy Uso. We both said we had all the victors right. We had all the outcomes right. We missed Roman Reigns, and oh boy, it felt good missing it, because when he came back, and we'll tell you about it after this, it's going over on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Going Over. I, of course, am Fred Slow, alongside me, Sally Taylor, and we're bringing you Saturday morning pro wrestling talk after a huge SummerSlam last weekend, after a very fun Raw, after an intense SmackDown where the Civil War of the Bloodline has officially started. Let's talk a little bit, Sally, about how you reset. Let's talk a little bit about how WWE has 3 months now to go from where we are to a fun payoff at Survivor Series, and how other promotions can follow what I think is the example for the class WWE. How do you feel about the reset with the Bloodline?
I love it. This whole thing, it's not necessarily a reset. Remember, I talked about this analogy before, where some things need to be cooked, some things need to simmer when you're working on the stove. And I think right now they're cooking. They're getting back to cooking for the Bloodline tonight. Well, if you're watching or you're listening to this live as we're recording this on Friday evening, late night, SmackDown had just finished, and so everyone knows Roman came back and did a little fun number, and they're planting seeds right now. It's the whole Roman's no longer back for a belt, for a title, or anything like that. He's coming back for the Ulafala. Either that, or he's just coming back to check the little cousin, Solo Sikoa. And this is it's beautiful. You got Solo, who's been drunk with power,
running around unchecked, like the cat's away.
And the mice have been playing, man.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing. I love everything that they're doing. But what sucks, well, not necessarily sucks, is like what's troubling is for such a product like WWE, they have their monthly shows. And
you're talking about Bash in the Berlin coming up.
Yeah. So one of the things that they have to do is not just with the Bloodline, which I wouldn't mind if the Bloodline doesn't make it to Bash at the Berlin. They don't need to go to Berlin. No. I think they went through enough paperwork to get Jacob anyways out of the country the first time.
Congratulations to former Duke City Championship Wrestling and now WWE Tag Team Champion Jacob Fatu.
So proud of it. They don't need to go to that, but the challenge now is the relevancy and making it sure that everyone that has a title feels like they are holding the world. Cody Rhodes on SmackDown just called out Kevin Owens to a friendly competition. Kevin Owens at first said no, but they're going to throw down at Bash at Berlin. Then you also have Gunther versus.
Well, and don't just rush over the Gunther part, because I think that's a prime example, right? Because now you're talking about the reign, right? Because his last reign, 666 days with the Intercontinental Championship, his last reign was so significant. Whenever they're starting off his welcome, and by the way, having Kaiser there to do the introduction, very good. He catches a lot of flack as far as undercardy style guys coming at Gunther. Sheamus is an example. he's excellent. And the reign of Gunther, the first thing he did was mention 666 days with the Intercontinental Championship, and I would not be surprised at all because no offense to Gunther and Bash at Berlin, but there's just no way he's going to lose.
In Berlin.
It's not going to happen, right?
In Berlin. You don't want to piss off Germans in their hometown.
No,
You don't.
will not go well. And but that's like a tremendous way to start telling his story. Because his story forever was, when is he going to be anointed? And now he has it, right?
Yeah.
And now, there's some guys, right? CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, like we can kind of run the names. But none of them are going to get even close until I would tell you the Royal Rumble, and probably not then. I think he's going to go to WrestleMania with it.
So here's a cool thing that you once said, and now I'd like try to measure everything or try to have that perspective of all the other stories. When you first brought it up with Cody going against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, people saying that this is Cody's story, but you brought up this brilliant thing that it's actually not Cody's story. That's actually Roman's story.
Yeah. It absolutely.
So now, like as I'm like checking out these other stories that's brewing, I'm trying to figure out who the main character is. Hey, Donovan, what's happening, baby? Shout out to Downtime in the Ring host, Donovan. Who do you got?
Yeah,
Eureka.
Okay,
I'm almost there. Donovan, love you, brother.
DY will be with us August 31st, leading a fun panel outside of Locked In. So we're excited to have his wrestlers will be available for questions from the fans in attendance, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Continue that thought, though, on whose story this really is.
Donovan, keep your mic away from me, man. So for Gunther is clearly the main character in any storyline that he's involved in. He has such a way that he can just take you realize that you're in the room with him.
Yeah.
So I'd say that is Gunther's title now. That is Gunther's story.
Well, and Randy doesn't
have that.
Yeah, Randy Orton will be he will put on the best show. Like he'll do the job, and he'll be great at it. And there was a real fun takeaway line from Raw where he says, Randy Orton says to Gunther, you're calling yourself a living legend. And the thing is, I'm a legend killer. And then, you go, okay, like that's all I needed. All I needed
I'm hooked.
was, Randy Orton hears someone call themselves a legend and he comes out to correct that. Will he be able to? No. And how much will that help Gunther? A ton. And
my favorite part was when Gunther told him, you could tell all those voices no.
Yeah. He's hella good. That is to me the takeaway. There's some other world of wrestling you can watch in the ring stuff. I don't think in the ring stuff is the best conversation pieces. I don't like to sit here and go, hey, you know what I'm about? That spot in that moment, because I don't think it translates to the audience. But I'll tell you this, Finn Balor and Damian Priest is it's become upper echelon.
Yeah.
And for Finn Balor to have Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan and Carlito and everyone behind wild good. Incredibly good. JD McDonough, which I don't think I mentioned, them staying in Judgment Day, allowing Judgment Day to still exist with Finn Balor in a leadership role the way he's historically been in so many different factions and so many different organizations, and Damian Priest now being able to team with Rhea Ripley, which we'll get into at length later, and they're going to have a little 1-2 punch of anti-hero, big and strong guys. Yeah. Oh, good verbiage there. It is that. Yeah. And it's good because that story is a year old. That story's just starting. And we're going to be able to watch that thing roll.
Who do you think the main character is in that? Whose story is that?
Priest called him out. Finn Balor answered. Finn Balor's got disciples. Priest is going to get to run through all of them. And that's going to be good because obviously they have the history all together, this is going to be a terrible answer to your question. The story is about who comes out on top at the end. So if Damian Priest predictably, like he did the other night, runs through JD McDonough and then gets a chance to run through Carlito and then more than likely runs through Dominic Mysterio and then he gets a chance at Finn Balor. If Finn Balor is victorious, it's Finn Balor's story the whole time. If Priest is victorious, there was Damian Priest on the redemption. And I would like to see it be Finn Balor. You know what I'd really like? I'd really like to see it be Finn Balor with a little help from an AJ Styles, with a little help from a Carl Anderson, with a little help from a Gallows. Yeah. You know what I want? Yeah, it is. It's about the club. You know, and then if if the bloodline wants to get weird and Tama Tonga wants to leave and go do some stuff with the club, even better. Because now you're talking about 3 different leaders of that thing at one time. Like you could be telling a tremendous, and I'm talking like a stable that with those names we just mentioned could be entertaining for years. And maybe the young blood in it isn't a JD McDonough moving forward, which by the way, I think he's going to end up really successful. But you end up putting, some other blood in it that you can curtail and shape and move forward. And I think that would end up being a better story if they can figure out how to do it. Because AJ Styles is sleeping right now, and Carl Anderson is sleeping right now, and Gallows is sleeping right now. And those guys could be a part of a bigger thing.
I'd say that they're hibernating right now. Like when they wake up, they're about to go to work. AJ Styles at the tail end of his career, we talk about this all the time. Mm-hmm. I would love to see him have one of his last matches in the TNA arena, maybe against Moose or whomever. I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
You just get him an octagon shape one. Do it in WWE.
Oh, that would be insane. I think a couple things maybe happening with Finn Balor because he's been leaning in more on the darker side, and I love that. I love it when he does that. We might see the Demon Balor with his other demons, like the Judgment Day, all coming on demon garb for that. Remember, whenever Priest would have a big match, he always tell everyone stay out, don't get involved. But Finn Balor is like about more of the collective. But if we see Demon Balor for this, and then see everyone else. And like come out in like demon paint, I would pop for that. It would be funny seeing Dominic in a.
I don't think you're overly wrong. I would say this. So the rumor I've heard is the rub isn't worth the reward on it. The makeup's not worth the reward. The reaction of the crowd's not worth the reward. There's all those kind of things. Now, and I'm just saying if they do decide to skew towards Bullet Club stuff, if they do decide to get a lot of the guys on the roster that have had a history with it and could represent it really well, if they decide to do that, you could go something Prince, like you could go something of that nature and call upon existence before WWE, which I believe at least the smart audience would get immediately, and if not, I believe the new audience too would be enthusiastic about it. That's on me.
I like that.
Also, then you can bleed out a story from there where, Liv Morgan, who stole the title and stole the boyfriend of Dominic Mysterio, she then, leaves him, for a Finn Balor, does something of that nature. And then, he can move Dominic around. There's a lot to it. There's just a lot to it.
There's a lot.
Well, and that's the best part. We can talk about all these things because the way it's starting.
Yeah.
The way it's being built.
Yeah, it's reset. Yeah.
Yeah. And CM Punk, unreal in the way that they're going to run this whole thing. I want Seth Rollins to be recognized as the super bad dude that he is. And I like the idea of Bronson Reed being a big muscle. I like the idea of Drew McIntyre interrupting. All of these things super work for me. But WWE has waited over 10 years for CM Punk to come out on top on a feud, and it's gonna have to happen here.
At Bash?
Not necessarily. It can drag
or with this storyline.
Yeah, with this storyline.
Yeah, I could see that. But along the way, they're going to be making a lot of money.
Yeah, they very much will.
Oh my gosh!
The type of money where at the end you go, did that just happen? Like, did you set another gate? in Vancouver. Survivor Series is in Vancouver. You and I are going.
Yep.
You
And you're gonna have a Korean Samoan Thanksgiving, man.
I was a little off air stuff. So so we're Duke City Championship Wrestling is Thanksgiving night. That's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. That is going to be a banger of a party. Thanksgiving's the following day. Friday is Black Friday.
African American Friday. Yep.
Okay. And then that Saturday is always Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Like a very realistic is do pro wrestling here in Albuquerque on that Wednesday. Celebrate a Thanksgiving. End up in Seattle on a Friday. Your hometown, just 2.5 hours away from Vancouver. Make our way up, do a little Survivor Series, come back, land in Albuquerque on Sunday. Like that is a banger of a week for your boys.
On my birthday.
That's your birthday too?
Yeah.
Turbo Tony Davis's birthday is that weekend too.
What?
Yeah, there you go. Now you know.
What? Hey.
I'm telling you, people are the word's out there. Preeminent pro wrestler Turbo Tony Davis.
The last time we went to Survivor Series, we virtually got no sleep the entire weekend.
I'm good at that. You had to learn how good I was at that.
Bro, I'm like, all right, yeah, I can't really. Oh, we're going still. We're still going. Oh. So at least we're on my turf. At least we're close to my turf, baby. I have been holding on this receipt for so damn long, and a year later, baby.
Well, and I like the idea of headed to the Northwest. For pro wrestling in the Northwest is good. It's real good in Seattle. You know, some of the biggest names to ever do it are from that area. Daniel Bryan's from Aberdeen. There's some really talented guys from up there. Darby Allin's from up there. I went to college in Washington, and I went to Washington State, which is on the East Coast or the East
Wazoo.
East side. Well, yeah, let's go Cougs. But that's a really intense, fun part of the country when it comes to pro wrestling. And if you put a big event up there in Vancouver, which, like I said, 2.5 hours ish, we got to drive across the border. I got my passport somewhere.
Mine too, somewhere.
Ask my lady where it's at. I don't know where it's at. But that's the trip, right? And that's why those like Survivor Series in Chicago last year did so very well. It was so big.
Yeah.
And it's not regardless of what's going on in the ring, but it's like supplemented by it. You know, we didn't go to SummerSlam. I had some personal stuff going on. It wasn't for me this year. But Cleveland is a really good pro wrestling city. Like they support that thing. And
they showed out, man.
Oh my gosh, they do. They're excellent at it. Am I worried about Minneapolis and Minnesota and, you know, AWA from all the years ago? Yes, I am. You know, Minnesota doesn't bring heat in pro wrestling the way that, you know, some of these other big ones do. Las Vegas is a good example. St. Louis, Missouri is a good example. Kansas City is a good example. There are some cities that do. Memphis, if they had ever find a venue big enough to do anything decent.
Yeah.
Since that pyramid became a Bass Pro, what do you do? Like, where are you going to go? We continue our conversation about resetting storytelling in the world of pro wrestling whenever we get back. You're Solid Taylor. I'm Fred Slow. This is Going Over on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Going Over. I, of course, am Fred Slow. Alongside me, Solid Taylor, talking the world of pro wrestling. We're doing a special late night, Friday night recording because we don't have lives for our Saturday morning airing of this very show. And the live chat has been a lot of fun. Big thank you to Turbo Tony joining us, who, if we were to take a second and talk about Duke City Championship Wrestling, I don't know if we have a more improved wrestler over the course of the last calendar year than Turbo Tony. Turbo Tony, the way he approaches it, the character he was in the beginning, what he is currently now, also the diversity of that character. Because my least favorite moment in the history of Duke City Championship Wrestling involves Turbo Tony. My least favorite moment in the history of Duke City Championship Wrestling involved me being irate at Turbo Tony. And Turbo Tony knowing that and taking that and doing a billion times better than where we were and impressing a million times over. That is a dude that has it figured out. And his tag match last month that you did not get to see because you were suspended in Angel Fire. You get suspended and you go on vacation in Angel Fire, you're kind of a jerk.
Well, y'all didn't want me there, so I had to go somewhere else where I was wanted.
He's as much talent as anyone that I have seen on this very roster. So
Oh,
just thankful that he takes the time. Also, fun announcement which I haven't taken public yet, but we'll do it right now. Duke City Championship Wrestling is live from the first Lobo football game. The home opener, let's go against Montana State. Duke City Championship Wrestling at the tailgate, my friend. Now we're not setting up the wrestling ring, but I got an inflatable wrestling ring. So we're going to put up a fun bounce house style pro wrestling ring. I'm going to reach out to some of the guys, get them out there to kind of let football fan know that pro wrestling is not just back, but it's back and prevalent here in the city of Albuquerque, and how fortunate we are to have that opportunity. So thank you to UNM Athletics on having Duke City Championship Wrestling out at the first tailgate of the year. Montana State comes to town. It's going to be a banger, my man.
that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be dope. Let me know when, and I'm maybe I'll see a couple of our other guys out there. And I'm pretty sure a lot of our guys have some receipts holding for me. So you know what? I'll wait.
Montana State Bobcats visit the New Mexico Lobos. That's Saturday, August the 24th. It is a 2 p.m. kickoff. So expect to see us around tailgate time. And then obviously, and then the boys don't know this yet, but we're doing like the t-shirt toss on the field and stuff. So we're doing some cool stuff, which is going to be wild. So I'm sure Tony Davis will be part of that crew, and we'll reach out to others. And then that night they turn around, they go right over to Phase 1 Pro Wrestling on the other side of town, which is another really good wrestling promotion here in Albuquerque, because it is abundant. There was pro wrestling at the time of this recording. There's pro wrestling in Chama, like like on the night of August the 9th, airing. Here we are August the 10th morning or whatever. But there's a lot of individuals doing it all over the state, and I could not be more impressed by the resurgence of the pro wrestling world here in the land of enchantment.
I'm all about it. Once again, I talked about it earlier in the show today, where there's just something beautiful about this land that helps bring about some beautiful talent, whether if you're from here or not. I remember Jerkson Profar played for the Isotopes, a name I'll never forget, because I swear, I swear that like that's a name that someone would have made up on the spot if you're up to no good. Like, what's your name? Jerkson? Like, Profar. But like, there's something beautiful about this town, about this city that caters and helps talent. Like, it's a beautiful ground that helps like create and what's the word I'm looking for? Como ceviche.
Cultivate.
There you go. Cultivate talent in such a way that in other places you wouldn't get. The opportunities I've gotten as I've been cultivating my talent, I would not have gotten away with a lot of this.
Well, and it's it's an effort-based community too. There's roughly in the metro area, counting Santa Fe, 1 million people. There's roughly 1 million people in Albuquerque, and those individuals want to do what? They want to live really comfortable lives. They want to be financially solvent, and they want fair equity, and they want affordable entertainment, and all those things are provided here. They're provided here regularly. Lobo football is it the best football team you've ever seen? It's not currently. No. Is it on the right path? Could be. You can become a part of that Lobo football story real early. Was Duke City Championship Wrestling the best pro wrestling promotion you ever saw week 1? No, it wasn't. Not even close. Is it right now? No, it's not. But it's going the right direction. Do you go to Isotopes Park and expect to see a big winner from the Colorado Rockies AAA affiliate every single Tuesday through Sunday? You don't. But you're going to get a rich atmosphere, and it's going to be family oriented, and it's going to be an affordable rate. New Mexico United, 2-game slide right now at the time of this recording, in the mix, still leading the West. Like, they put 10,000 over at Isotopes Park on a Wednesday night. Are you kidding me? Like, there's so much going on here in the world of entertainment. We're not even talking arts and cultures. Like, the best plays, the best musicals, the most entertainment. Theater is asking us. A casino called me 2 days ago, and they say, "Hey, what do we got to do to get pro wrestling out here?" I'll tell you what we got to do.
Pay.
Well, we got to make sure we're doing it for the right reasons. That's a big part of it. Yeah, that's a huge part of it. And then the people that support, oh my gosh, they're based in kindness and warmth. Here, I'll give you an example, not to go too inside pro wrestling. Duke City Championship Wrestling fan is all shapes, sizes, financial, political, every single core belief you can have, understanding, and existence. And if you reach out to the social media and say, hey, Duke City Championship Wrestling, times are a little tight or whatever. Like, what could I do to get into the show? How could I get my family of 4, whatever? You know what you could do? Hang some posters up around town. Be part of the process. Like, that stuff's doable. Because we got people that are willing to give. And I don't know if I've seen that in other places. Hey, and vice versa, there's the other side of the coin. There's the you're not doing it the exact way I think you should be doing it, therefore it's terrible. Okay. I mean, do you say that to the zoo? Like, no. Like, the enclosure is here because it needs to be. Sorry, the penguins aren't in the front. Put the penguins somewhere else.
Can you move the lion, please?
Yeah. It'd be best if I saw the lion roar when I walked in. Oh.
Like every time, please.
Yeah. How's your zoo doing? How are you doing, zoo?
As a whole.
So we talk about resetting the world of pro wrestling. I was talking about a bunch of individuals last segment, Sally. I think you have a really good angle on these stables, though, right? Like, we're talking specifically about the bloodline, which is, again, become Roman Reigns' story. Give me, friend, where you believe this thing is going to go and how you believe it's going to get there.
Oh, War Games, baby.
Yeah.
I want to hear William Regal come out one more time. War Games.
That's his deal.
It's gonna be great, man. Also, I believe we're gonna see multiple, War Game matches at Survivor Series. They have those 2 rings out there, so it will be beyond just like one ladies and then one men's. There's a lot of stables that are going at it. I wouldn't mind seeing a wide 6 War Games.
Their debut wasn't terrible the other day. I thought it worked well. If you're building a bloodline War Games, give me the teams.
Roman, Usos, Sammy, and just to throw everyone off.
That's
Brock.
4. You're up to 4. And then who?
Brock
Lesnar?
Yeah. I know there's a fat chance of him coming back, but if he were to,
way.
it would be for that.
You're crazy.
Oh man.
I could see Sami Zayn talking Kevin Owens into it. Give me that team.
Ooh.
I could see Cody Rhodes saying, I got you right now. Let's go again later. I think
for honor. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. You want to talk to me about The Rock or something? Maybe.
The Rock will be leading the other side with Solo.
Yeah.
Boaz and Jacob.
The Rock, Solo.
Oh, and Hukuleo too. Hukuleo's going to come out.
How do you know that? You don't know that.
He's coming out.
You don't know that.
For such a time as that, yes. Oh, yes, baby. Going to have a 6'8" Tongan come out. War Games is the perfect time for him to be out there.
There's always a sweet debut at Survivor Series too. Like, if there's if it's like a silhouetted mystery man or whatever, I'm in. Let's go.
I don't know if he's too big of a. Well, he'll be a great presence, but not necessarily a name for such a surprise. People would see him coming a mile away. Who would be coming out? Honestly, if Joe Hendry were to come out for that, I would pop, bro. Just say his name.
You could do some stuff with ladies too. You could put Tamina in the mix on that thing. I guess
the Tongan sisters are coming out.
Oh, are they?
Oh yeah.
There's probably something to be said too about what's old girl's name? Jimmy Uso's wife. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Naomi.
Like, you could tie her in. Yeah, Trinity. Yeah, you could tie her into something. There might be a little movement there. I think it'd be weird to do one lady and a 5-man, but I mean, you could do it. Like, if they both had one, it would maybe work.
Well, like, it would who would the ladies? Yeah, you're right. Who would the ladies match be? I would love to see a female bloodline, show like the bloodline just running rampant. They have them not till then. From now till then, so they're just running over the entire locker room, and it just becomes them versus the world.
Yeah, that Io Sky team could do it versus that Sonya Deville team with Baszler and Stark and all them. That might be a thing. I don't know. Is the EO Skies team still going by Damage Control? I don't know.
Damage Control, yeah.
Yeah, that could be a thing. That wouldn't be the worst thing I ever saw.
That would be fun.
Yeah, you could put Bailey in there somewhere, I guess. Although I feel Damage Control is leaning a little more face than they had been, but you can't put Bailey back with them. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe that doesn't work out as the women's one, but yeah, there'll be a good women's one.
I can see like two of them going, like Naomi turning on Jade and Bianca Belair. I could see her turning on them and then joining the ladies' bloodline, and then have them versus Bianca Belair, Jade, and Damage Control. And
yeah, would not be the absolute worst at all. Would not at all.
That would be. I could see that.
And when you get a build to it, and also we didn't mention, like Liv Morgan. We didn't mention anything going on with Damian Priest's, story. There's more opportunity than there is opportunity on the card. And
yeah,
that just kind of speaks to how good, pro wrestling is this moment and how fortunate we are to be industry adjacent to it, and how much we're enjoying it from the inside. And we hope that fans of Going Over and fans of Duke City Championship Wrestling are taking the time. DCCWtickets.com. If you want to come hang out with us at the Rio Rancho Event Center, it is locked in. Big cage match for our main event, Hobo Hank versus Thunder. Also, some fun debuts, so we're going to be excited to see those. We talked about them at length. Also, we have unannounced tag team match, which is going to happen. So we got some more guys, making debut. So it's going to be excellent. It's going to be this. I'm going to say this without a doubt. It'll be the best pro wrestling on a card that you've seen from Duke City Championship Wrestling yet. And saying what last episode was, I mean, that's speaking highly, my man.
Well, especially because I'm coming back, baby. Your boy's coming back.
Yeah, the Chris
I shouldn't get suspended again. I shouldn't. Yeah.
Chris from the live stream says probably not this year, but he'd like to see a Bullet Club Wyatt 6 bloodline kind of thing. Same. I mean,
that
yes.
would be dope.
Yeah, let's go.
Especially God. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Be very good.
Bullet Club's next year's War Games for sure. So that might be AJ Styles' last one.
He's been in it a long time. Hey, but these guys they don't age like they used to.
No.
Give me your final word, Saleh, before we cut this one short.
I'm happy to see you, man, and even I appreciate all of our fans. I'm grateful to each and every one of y'all. We'll see you when we see you. Just know that when you see us, feel free to ask for a handshake, man.
Lots of opportunity around town, including we're going to be at the tailgate for the Mexico Lobos home opener against Montana State and season opener. That's going to be a lot of fun for us. For Saleh Taylor, I am Fred Slow. Good job, everyone. Keep breathing.